Let us look at an example of cost volume profit analysis where a company has multiple products. So the example at hand is that we need to determine the break-even sales in the following case. Now, break-even sales means the sales in terms of revenues at which the entire cost has been recovered. So this company here has three products, A, B, and C. Now we have been provided with some information. So we have been given sales in terms of units, which is 5,000, 6,000, and 4,000 respectively. We have been given the unit selling price in rupees, which is 10, 15, and 18. We also have the unit variable cost in terms of rupees, which is 6, 4, and 13. And we have also been given the fixed cost, which is 40,000 rupees. Now with this information, we have to find out how much revenue should the company make in order to recover all the cost. So in this case, you can consider this as the annual sales, and the fixed cost can be considered as the annual fixed cost. So in case of sales, with these number of units sold, we may or may not have achieved the break-even point. So we need to find out what is the break-even point in terms of revenues. Now, break-even point is the point where the total revenue is equal to the total cost. Now, total revenue is equal to the quantity sold multiplied by the unit selling price, and total cost is equal to the fixed cost plus the variable cost. Now we can again substitute the variable cost with the formula, which is number of units sold multiplied by the unit variable cost. So here let's bring the expressions with the variable, which is Q, on one side, because Q is the break-even quantity which needs to be sold in order to recover all the cost. So QP minus QC is equal to F, or Q into bracket P minus C is equal to F, or Q is equal to F divided by P minus C. So this is the break-even point in terms of units. Now if you have to find out the break-even point in terms of revenue, basically revenue is nothing but the multiplication of the number of units and the unit selling price. So we need to multiply the unit selling price on both the sides. So or Q into P is equal to F divided by P minus C multiplied by P, or the break-even point in terms of sales is equal to F into P, and this expression here, which is the unit selling price minus the unit variable cost. This is also known as the contribution margin or the unit contribution margin. So contribution margin is nothing but the amount which contributes towards the payment of the fixed cost till the break-even point is achieved, and after that it contributes towards profits. So this is the formula for the break-even point when we have one product. Now in our case, we have three products, A, B, and C. So each of these products has a different number of units sold, different unit selling price, and different unit variable cost. So if we have to find out the break-even sales, we know the fixed cost, which is 40,000 rupees, which is independent of the products being produced. Now we have to find out the unit contribution margin. Now this unit contribution margin needs to be found out for this example in such a way that when that unit contribution margin is multiplied by the total quantity, that is Q, you get the total contribution margin. So what this means is that this is nothing but the weighted average contribution margin. So let's find out the weighted average contribution margin. So in this case, the average contribution margin will be nothing but the addition of the multiplication of individual contribution margin. So for product A, the unit contribution margin is 10 minus 6, which is 4. And the total contribution margin for A will be 4 multiplied by the number of units sold, which is 5,000. Plus for B, the unit contribution margin is 15 minus 4, which is 11. And we have to multiply this by the number of units sold, which is 6,000. Plus the unit contribution margin for C is 18 minus 13, which is 5. And this multiplied by the number of units sold, which is 4,000. And this will be divided by the total number of units sold, which is 5,000 plus 6,000 plus 4,000. So 5 plus 6 is 11 and 11 plus 4 is 15. So 15,000. Now this is equal to 5 fours are 20. So 20,000 plus 11 6 are 66. So 66,000 plus 5 fours are 20. So 20,000 divided by 15,000. So this is equal to, now 20 plus 20 is 40, 40 plus 60 is 100, 100 plus 6 is 106. So this is 106,000 divided by 15,000. So we can cancel these three zeros. So this is equal to 106 divided by 15. Now this is nothing but the weighted average contribution margin, which is nothing but the unit contribution margin. So another way of looking at this unit contribution margin is that if we multiply this number with the total sales, which is nothing but 15,000, then what we'll get is 106 divided by 15 multiplied by 15,000. So this will be equal to, this gets cancelled by 1000, 106,000. And if we look at this contribution margin, which is the overall contribution margin, in a different way, that is, we calculate the total contribution margin for each product A, B and C and add them, we basically get this expression, which is 4 multiplied by 5,000 plus 11 multiplied by 6,000 plus 5 multiplied by 4,000. And if you add this, you will get the same amount, which is 106,000. So this figure here represents the average contribution margin per unit. So now we have found out the unit contribution margin. Now we need to find out the selling price, that is the unit selling price. So again, in this case, we have the unit selling price, which is different for each product. However, for this formula, we have to find out the unit selling price in a way such that if we multiply that one single unit selling price with the total number of units sold, we get the total revenue. So what we'll do is we'll find out the weighted average selling price. So the unit selling price will be equal to, so first we'll find out the total sales for each product and then add them and divide by the total number of units sold. So the first one, the unit selling price is 10. So 10 multiplied by the number of units sold, which is 5,000, plus 15 multiplied by 6,000, plus 18 multiplied by 4,000, and this divided by the total number of units sold, which is 5,000 plus 6,000 plus 4,000, which is nothing but 15,000. So this is equal to 50,000 plus 15 6 are 90,000. This is 50,000 plus 18 4s are 72, so 72,000 divided by 15,000. So this is equal to 50,000 plus 90,000 plus 72,000, which is equal to 212,000 divided by 15,000, and this is equal to, we can cut these three zeros, so 212 divided by 15. So we got the weighted average unit selling price. So now we have to substitute these values in this formula to find out the break-even point in terms of sales. So this is equal to F, which is 40,000. So 40,000 multiplied by P, which is the unit selling price, which is 212 divided by 15. So 212 divided by 15, and this whole divided by the unit contribution margin, which is 106 divided by 15. So let me clear some space here to do the calculations. So let's bring this forward here. So BEP is equal to 40,000 multiplied by, so we'll have this 212 in the numerator, so 212 multiplied by, so here we have 106 divided by 15, so this 15 can come on the numerator, so this becomes 15, and then divide by, so first we'll put the denominator for 212, which was 15 multiplied by the numerator of the expression in the original denominator, which is 106. So this is equal to, now 15 gets cancelled with 15. So let me pull my calculator here. So 40,000 multiplied by 212 divided by 106, which is 80,000. So break-even point in terms of sales is at 80,000 rupees. So basically what this means is that once the sales of 80,000 rupees has been achieved, the cost have been recovered and the company will start making profits.